All right, so it's 2010, and with nothing more than a backpack, a worn out suitcase, and a dream.
I arrived back in San Francisco and spent 5 straight months with Scott Nordland working on the Ginger and Pickles pilot. I managed to improve my animation skills while meeting more professional stop motion animators and artists Amy Adamy, Webster Colcord, Lionel Orozco, and Justin Cohn. I also keep in touch with Nelson Lowry, who tells me he's back in Portland, Oregon, gearing up for Leica Studios' next feature film. So I decide to take a Greyhound north for a week and finally meet him in person.
Oh, and funny side note,
Chuck Duke also challenges me to arrive unannounced to award winning stop motion animator John Ashley's house, with the instruction to knock and when he answers, simply say,
Duke sent me. I followed the instructions to the letter, get John to smile, and even later have a bite to eat with me.
He looks over my portfolio and gives me some great advice while just being one of the coolest guys ever. I then meet Nelson, and he too exceeds my expectations as an amazing person while passing on great advice for me and applying to what was then Leica's Paranorman.
Now, at this point, you're probably thinking, man, all this guy has to do is listen to John and Nelson, and he's got his dream job in stop motion animation. But leave it up to Werley to keep it interesting. As much as I like the prospect of working with guys like John and Nelson,
There is something about Portland, Oregon that I am just not quite ready for. I just can't stop thinking about San Francisco, so I grab a train back to the city of the Golden Gate. When I arrive back in town, Scott and showrunner Johnny Cavalli are so surprised to have me back that Johnny pays me $200 for my work on Ginger and Pickles.
later that night, while getting ready to crash at the studio, I am moved to tears as I think to myself how amazing it is to finally be paid for doing stop motion animation. I love you, Johnny, and thank you for the opportunity.
I continue to frequent animation gatherings and meet other aspiring animators, including Mike Barnett, Brett Foxwell, and Bob Blevins. Now, with San Francisco being an expensive city, it becomes clear that I am not making enough money just animating, and I can no longer afford basic expenses. So thankfully, I land an interview with the Academy of Art University to become a stop motion lab tech.
This is great because it's still in the main vein of what I want to do professionally.
And, well, technically, I'm homeless at this time with no actual address. I can't keep crashing at inexpensive yet somewhat suspect hostels, Scott's studio, or in Scott and his wife Hiromi's apartment closet.
Man, do I wish I had a picture of that. No joke, it was a closet with a mattress in it.
But hey, it was better than sleeping on the streets, so I was beyond grateful to both of them. Don't get me wrong, it was an exciting time living in and out of the hostels, getting things like severe staph infections from dirty beds, but also meeting some really awesome people from all over the world.
It's pretty clear, though, that after months of living in them, it's time for me to improve my situation.
Now, sadly, before things have a chance to level out more, Scott and I have a huge falling out, and I have no idea what I'm going to do next. Johnny wants me to continue animating on Ginger and Pickles, but out of respect for Scott, I unfortunately removed myself from the project altogether. I do happily manage to land the gig at the Academy of Art University, but I have to wait until it starts. My mom, being the angel that she is, sends me what she can to keep me going.
After reluctantly spending a few nights on the streets just to save money, I begin talking with new friend Bob, who is actually looking for an apartment. We decide to go all in and make our own stop motion movie, and I'm forever grateful to his parents for letting me stay at their hotel a night before we get our own apartment.
I loan money from my mom and great friend Owen Winward for my half of the down payment until I start making enough funds from my new job. Bob and I move into our new pad and immediately begin working on our first film together, entitled TP, The Life of a Toilet Paper Roll. We managed to run a successful crowdfunding campaign to fund our short film and decide to divide the work and focus on our strengths. I do all of the art direction, storyboards, production, and character designs, as well as set and puppet fabrication, where Bob focuses on writing, animation, and direction. Through my ties with the Academy of Art University, we managed to bring on some very talented art students turned friends to help us with puppet fabrication and various other tasks, and we built ourselves a modest team of emerging artists to help make our film. Through the Academy, we also meet stop-mo artisans mold maker Martin Meunier and master armature maker Merrick Cheney during a tour of their shared studio. Our work on our indie film TP even eventually gets us hired on to Henry Selick's unrealized stop-motion feature, The Shadow King, via the newly founded studio, Cinderbiter. I joined the casting and seaming team of the puppet fabrication department.
But unfortunately, I'm only on the project for 5 months until Disney and Pixar producers decide to shut the project down, thus rendering everybody on the team now out of a job.
Now, thankfully, my amazing boss at the academy, Beth Souza, reaches out to me and offers me a teaching job in the stop mo department. At the same time, folks from Cinderbiter are going over to Phil Tippett's studio to help volunteer on his incredible indie film, Mad God. I email Phil directly, and before I know it, he invites me out to help animate with him on shots for the film, while also helping clean armatures, redress his She-It puppet,
And even screw up a mold. What can I say? I was a little green at this time.
But Phil is easily one of the coolest people I have ever met in my life, and a true legend and champion of the film and stop motion animation worlds.
My time working with him remains one of my greatest experiences to this day.
And I cannot thank him enough for giving me the opportunity to truly learn from a master of his craft.
I love you, Phil.
While I continue to teach at the Academy of Art University, Beth sets up an opportunity for me to meet with one of Leica's recruiters, the amazing Josie Seed.
I have a great meeting with her, and eventually I even get offered a position in the puppet department as a puppet painter.
So Bob and I decide to move Werley Bob Pictures to Beaverton, Oregon. We plan to not only finish TP while I start my career with Leica, but also try to get him into the studio as well.
Now it is clear destiny is calling, but I am very reluctant to leave San Francisco.
As it remains a city that continues to hold a huge part of my heart. I absolutely loved my time there and had so many great experiences.
Now that's just the abridged version of my time in San Francisco, and I know what you're thinking. At this point in the story, it seems all too easy. Well, strap in for next week, pilgrims. As I continue on a journey to meet perhaps the most important figure who will provide me with the key to unlocking my greatest personal achievement.